a Skype with Jim, Jim Plumer at Vermont, and Harry and Peter Smith on Monday. And Jim was just back from his first recruiting trip in 18 months. He went out to Minnesota and watched there was U12s, U14s, U16s, and he was blown away by the talent level of all the kids coming out of especially the American Southwest, like California, Arizona, but just generally. And I've never really heard him talk in such terms before, but he couldn't believe like the skill level, skating level of so many kids, not just one or two. I think he's mainly thinking U12s and U14. So get to work.
Well, it's funny. I'm even watching these kids, and I mean, there are some that are ahead of the curve, and at the young age groups, it's because of their skating. And we're doing such a disservice to these players. And again, this is not an age group I've spent a lot of time with. But clearly in their team practices or their skill camps they've been doing, the skating and the edge work and all that has not been emphasized at all. Because we all know if you spend a week or two or consistently weekly with U9s and U11s, edge work and stride, like they're going to pick it up. Like they're sponges, but a lot of these kids are already, unfortunately at U11 kind of behind the eight ball. We did outside edges yesterday and some of them looked at me like I was a crazy person. I'm thinking, how do you not know how to use at least the basics of this, right? So I do feel like, there has to be a lot more skill work at the younger age groups and more of a buy-in from parents to do that. And it doesn't always have to be playing a game. And I think in Toronto, we're still way too focused on how many games are the kids playing, how many tournaments are they in versus what skill work they're doing. So between that, edges and shooting, my goodness, the shooting, Tim. Wow. So like they're just not taught anything. It's actually shocking how little they know.
This is shocking.
Yeah.
This is very shocking.
Well, I think, Joni, and again, this is not an age group I've spent a lot of time with, but it seems with boys, they go to hockey camps earlier. They're more committed earlier because it gets a little crazier younger, typically for the boys. Mm-hmm. And so the girls don't take up the sport quite as early. And when they do, often their introduction to it is in more of a house league format and it's sort of like a slower onboarding. Whereas the boys, it's like once you're like, I'm a hockey player, it like hits you in the face. Yeah. If that's what you really want to do. And so I think with the slow onboarding, we haven't really empowered those coaches to teach skill. And the parents are less likely to send their daughters to a skills camp, especially at that age group. They'd rather be with the girls. So basically, I'm going to be opening up a whole new market because my daughters are young of teaching pure skill to younger players. And I just don't think it's being done. They kind of go right into house league, right into scrimmaging, and not really emphasize the fundamentals. So, but the shooting is, part of it's repetition and part of it's just a complete lack of instruction on it. So they're getting really bad repetition, even if they are practicing it. And Tim and Wally would both know, like when you have a girl who can shoot, like it still makes you stand out. It's still, I think, a separator. I think at the Olympic level, of course, all of them can shoot. But it still is something that makes you stand up and go, whoa, with the girls at younger levels. So, these are the things I'll try to fix, Tim. So I'll try to keep up with the Americans, but I think it's going to take more than just my effort to make that happen.
Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't bode well for us down the road if in the largest hockey market in Canada where the reports are not great.